The halfway mark of the 1987 offshore season has been reached. In the Superboats, Al Copeland is tied for top points with Tom Gentry of Hawaii in the number 9 Gentry Turbo Eagle. Defending World Open Boat champion Bob Kaiser in his number 7 Systems is now chasing Spirit of America and driver John Antonelli. And in the modified division, M1 Special Edition and driver John D'Elia is now looking over his shoulder for the American Dream as Peter Hidalgo closes in on D'Elia. What will this fourth stop bring? IPI Sports brings you this 4th National Offshore Powerboat Race of 1987, the HFC Pro Series Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix. The HFC Pro Series Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix is sponsored by HFC Performance. It's what separates the best from the rest. And by Bud Light Beer, the less filling light beer with the first name in taste. Halfway through the racing season, the points battle is extremely close in 5 of 6 national divisions. The competition will be fierce for this year's U.S. National Championship.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sarasota, Florida for this, the Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix. I'm Dick Crippen, along with Jim Hendrick. And Jim, 4th stop on the tour, different water again.
Yes, different water this time. It'll be more or less an elongated course running north and south along the shoreline here at the Gulf of Mexico. Our big boats, which are the superboats, also the open class and the modifieds, will run 143 miles. 6 classes will be in competition. The smaller class will only run about 71 miles today, Dick.
Well, the competition should be extreme, and we have a special guest with us, Mark Spencer, who is from the west coast of these United States, and he's got a special interest in not only this stop, but for the rest of the circuit.
Midway through the season, heading towards the World Championships in Long Beach, the points race are really starting to intensify. We look for the action to be fast and furious here in Sarasota.
Okay, we also have another observer joining us today, and that's Rich Lors. He'll be high above the course and the race boats in Chopper 1.
Thanks, Dick. The weather is beautiful. The wind is kicking up just a little bit. We're going to have some choppy waters out there. Got boats in every class that are capable of winning this thing by the dozen, so we're looking forward to some real close bow handle to bow handle racing.
And the weather looks like it's going to cooperate. The temperature will be in the high 80s, the humidity just moderate, the seas 2 to 3 feet. Great weather, great course. Mark, let's talk about that course.
The Suncoast Grand Prix course was designed with spectators in mind. Each of the 6 national classes must complete a different series of long and short laps in order to finish the race. The boats will start off Lido Key Beach and head south along the Florida coastline, passing several checkpoints until they reach the town of Venice and checkpoint number 7. From there, the boats turn north and head back through the Gulf of Mexico to checkpoints 8 and 9. This completes a long lap. A short lap requires the boats to pass checkpoints 1 through 5. At checkpoint 6, the fleet makes a northwest turn and heads for checkpoint 8. The boats continue north back to the start-finish line. The Super, Open, and Modified classes run a series of laps that add up to 143 miles. Conversely, the Sportsman classes run a shorter course of 71 miles. Although the Sarasota course keeps the fleet close to shore, the complexity of intermixing long and short laps makes navigation a key factor in this event.
And Jim, I'm sure that's on the mind of all these drivers as they get ready to go out onto that course.
And the course, speaking of which, 1,500 spectator boats are lining that shoreline as we begin this opening, and hundreds of thousands are along the beach, according to a helicopter report.
Well, it's going to be an exciting race, and you can see all the drivers are now concentrating on following the pace boat out onto the course to get themselves positioned. One thing that makes this event special is that the proceeds go to the Suncoast Foundation for Handicapped Children. One man has been instrumental in the event's success.
Gene Whipp is vice chairman of the entire event, but he's also a founder of the event. Gene, it's kind of a unique story how it all happened because it's happened very fast.
Well, Dick, in my 28 years of racing, I've never seen a community come together like this community has. We kind of came up with an idea a little over 2.5 years ago, and with a little over 4 months to prepare for the first year, we married together a group of people, and of course we're down here where a lot of the boating manufacturers are, and they kind of came in with seed money. We got together with a group of people that had a lifelong dream to build a facility for handicapped children and put it together. In the first year, we generated over $200,000. Second year, well over $325,000, and we we feel this year is going to be bigger and better than ever. And the exciting thing is the way the entire community is wrapped around it, not only with the race, but also the festival concept. In fact, the drivers have been very, very gracious as we've given, they've given back over 50% of the prize money that's been won here. And I've never really seen Offshore respond like that. And of course, I think the drivers enjoy coming here because the whole town turns out and they really feel welcome here in Sarasota.
Biggest reward in the heart?
Oh, there's no question about it. When you see the kids, and we've had fishing tournaments for them this week and a lot of other activities, it makes my 28 years of racing worthwhile. And if I never step in a boat again, I'll never forget this event.
And there you see the boats now as they head out of the marina, out onto the course. Again, a lot of navigation will come into play on this particular course in Sarasota, Florida. It should be a tough day of racing for these competitors. Dick Crippen with Jim Hedrick, and will return with the start of the 1987 Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix in a moment.
Performance. It's what separates the best from the rest. Household Finance, a leader in financial services.
The fastest boats in the world are fiberglass. And the heart of any fiberglass boat is the resin used to build the boat. AME 4000 resin was developed for boats, not for anything else. That's why boats made with Ashland's AME 4000 are so hard to beat. AME 4000 makes all types of boats better than ever. You can demand this race-proven resin in your own boat. Just ask your dealer.
We're back in Sarasota, Florida, getting ready for this, the Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix. 6 national classes, 4 sportsmen, a good field of boats, Jim.
Yes, so we have a tie between Popeyes and the Gentry Turbo Ego. Exactly 705 national high points apiece going into this race. And, of course, Maxon's Marina and Club round out the Superboat field.
In the open class, we're looking at number 7 Systems. We'll see if Bob Kaiser can do it this time. Spirit of America is going to be main competition for him in that class. But it's a good field of open class boats that'll be running here today on what seems to be an excellent day. Also included in there is the Seahawk, and Sal Magluta's changed boats on this one.
Yeah, the number 20 Seaboat has now been renumbered 25 because of the accident in New Orleans in that open class competition.
Well, the competition in today's race is going to be tremendous. And Jim, the technology in offshore is always changing. Al Copeland in the number 1 Popeyes, the winningest superboat ever, is now looking to a new boat.
We're going to see how a new boat comes along. We should be testing it this week coming up now. Unfortunately, we missed the New Orleans race with it, and unfortunately, we missed this race with it. But since it is a real innovative piece of machinery, when you get involved with that stuff, it's just unpredictable. So it will be ready this week. Sometimes we'll be testing it, and I think it's come along tremendously. When I first started racing, I guess the fastest offshore boat was about 89 miles an hour. And today we're looking at times like, for example, Mr. Gentry and the Kilos running close to 150 miles an hour.
And Jim, I have to think that Mr. Gentry is going to be the man in Popeye's sights as they take to the course right now.
Now, here's the start right now of both the Superboats and the Open Deck.
And right off the bat, it is Gentry going out into the lead. The man from Hawaii has got his throttles wide open.
Second place right now, you see the yellow boat just in the wake. That, of course, was the Popeyes getting a decent start this time, but he's got to catch this guy.
Boy, and I'll tell you what, this guy went through the Kilos at better than 150 miles an hour in one of his runs, so Popeyes is well aware of what has to be done. Now, a little unusual, they've got 4 guys in the boat this time.
Driver Al Copeland, Stan Ware, the navigator, and, of course, Bill Soroyce is in there as a throttle man, and Dick Clark, who you worked with before on the air, is the 4th man in that boat.
Well, Dick Clark was the man who navigated for that team when they made a run up to New York. Here's Systems, Bob Kaiser. He would sure like a little bit of good luck into this race, and right off the bat, he gets bounced around.
This boat, of course, is out of Grosse Pointe, Michigan, and is currently about 3rd, I believe, in high point standings. And here's the Spirit of America, John Antonelli, been showing steady all year long. And look at the enclosed canopy, more protection in case they nose in.
He has been threatening. He has been right on the heels of the boats from the start of every race. It has been getting better and better for him. The Silver Bullet is another boat that we're going to watch very closely. This boat now is riding fourth in the open class. Craig Barry is pilot of that boat, number 8, the Silver Bullet.
Water not too bad, Dick. I don't think it's too bad at all. The deep V's and the catamarans seem to be working quite well today.
We talked about this boat earlier. It has a new number on it, the number 25. They are 5th in the open class right now. Remember, they had that big wreck up in Lake Pontchartrain, so they've got to be a little concerned about it, and I'm sure the crew wants to just settle into the situation right at the moment to make sure they have everything in control. Let's look at the modifieds.
And special edition with John D'Elia, the national high point leader in this, the 4th race of the year, leads the largest modified field of the season as far as participants go.
If one of the boats he's going to watch out for is Dirty Laundry, because that boat has been right on his tail all the way, every race. It's a great field of boats, and one of those boats, the M80, holds the current kilo speed record. Driver Jack Bishop knows that the conditions have to be right to win today.
The water's down. I think we'll do extremely well. Rough water. We're not rough water racers. The cat don't run that good in 4-foot chop, and we're designed to run extremely fast. And we're running inside the bay. We do real good.
And it's the 4th race of the year for 1987 for the Pro Stock. And in this list, Team Skater currently 3rd in the high point standings. Also, Nicky Coutreau in the Boardwalk currently 1st in this Pro Stock class. And we'll see a lot of competition here.
This is always an exciting class, and with the water the way it is out there now, we're going to have to watch these boats very closely because they can get roughed up very easily. Let's take a look now at the start of the modifieds. Watch M1 Special Edition, because this is the boat to beat. No question about it. That snow owl on the side of the boat has brought good luck to John D'Elia and John Digger Durgans.
Right now, Special Edition with John D'Elia leads in high points over the American Dream, Baja Bandit 2, Dirty Laundry, Jolly Rancher, and the rest of the field.
Well, you can see how tight this field is in competition. Now, actually, we started the Pro Stocks with the modifieds, but you can see here the modifieds have taken it out in front. And right away, Special Edition has jumped out ahead. Second place is the American Dream, the M11, a completely encapsulated boat.
They're using that F-16 fighter cockpit like the Unlimiteds do right now, and some of them are completely enclosed, and look at this one, yet to put a canopy on. The Baja Bandit completely open like the boats of yesteryear.
They may have a little bit of advantage on this day because it is a beautiful day, and that air coming across them I think will feel real good. The Jolly Rancher now riding in 4th place. Michael Drury out of New Orleans, Louisiana, doing a fine job of holding the boat in there. This water, of course, a lot better than what they had up on Lake Pontchartrain. This is smooth water for the M15, and I know they welcome it. Here's one that I've always said, watch out. This guy has been in contention every race.
Yes, he has. It's Joe Mock from St. Louis, Missouri. And Joe Impresia from New York, New York is the throttle man.
And he right now is riding in 5th place in the M3 Dirty Laundry. Let's jump back now to the Pro Stocks. There's Captain Maintained, and right now you can see those boats are starting to bounce around just a little bit. This is one of the favorites, Team Skater, riding in 2nd place to Captain Maintained.
And currently 3rd in national high points and would like to move up today.
Now we're going to take a look at a guy that I think you're going to have to watch very closely, because riding back in 3rd place, Nicky Coutreau, and we've talked about him a lot in the previous broadcast. Nicky is a guy who ran out of gas in the 1st race, but came back to win the 2nd race, and he's had good luck from there on.
And he's also won the 3rd race, so he's looking for 3 in a row and 3 out of 4 today.
And talk about threes, how about triple threat? The P-74 is right up there in 4th place right now. You can see they're pretty happy, waving at the spectator fleet as they go by.
It's like an old Sunday ride down the river. Jim Cropfield and Miss Budweiser, winning his last race in Unlimiteds, was singing in the microphone to the crew on shore.
Well, here's the Smiling Jacks. We talked to Jack Bishop earlier. I think they got such a bad start. Apparently, they've decided to just pull the boat back into the pit area and not worry about it. They were way off the pace on the start. They don't stand a shot at it in the modifieds. So Smiling Jacks is going to be out of it. The Superboat action will continue from Sarasota, Florida, the Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix, when we return.
There he is. What a happening dude.
There's a super party animal.
Yeah.
His name is Bugs McKenzie. A barbecue inside.
A barbecue.
And a cold Bud Light.
A cold Bud Light.
Puts him in a party frenzy.
In a party frenzy.
He's Buds McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Go, Buds, go. Go, Buds, go.
Those Buds go.
Bud, you really cooking now.
All right.
Back in Sarasota, Florida, you can see these folks are really enjoying the Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix. But Jim, like so many of these events around the country, this one has grown and is now a week-long festival. And it's a lot of fun. Now, here are the drivers as they got ready to go. Last night, they were out for a drivers' meeting, finding out where they were going to go on the course, because this is a tough one. But there are other events that enter into it. The fans, for instance, got to come down to the docks and look closely at the boats. And in some cases, they even got to get on board and find out what it feels like.
And it all goes to charity in this case, you know, too. And a week-long event climaxed by the boat races, and that's what happens in all classes of APBA boat racing throughout the year across this country.
And this, I might say, is the mini Grand Prix, not the offshore races we were talking about. This was a lot of fun. A lot of the celebrities and such locally got involved. Let's look at Stock A now. American Express is going to lead the way in the S5. Panama Jack, another one to watch. And, of course, Breakaway has been a good threat all year long. And Stock B?
Well, Stock B, we've got the Liberator, Double Trouble, Team Scarab, and a pretty good representation in the stock classes A and B.
Let's take a look now at the Stock A and B start. There you can see right out in front, American Express is starting to grab it. You can see these boats are a little smaller, a little bit lighter. They jump a little bit higher in the water. So American Express has taken the lead. The S5 starting things off for the S boats. Here's the second place now, the Phantom 2.
Get an idea now, these boats are only 24 foot in length, where the other boats are sometimes 30 to 35 to up to 40 feet in the superboat class.
There's the S12 Panama Jack. Now, this is one of the boats that went over in the race up at Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans. And as you can see, they are not begging off at all. As a matter of fact, a little unusual, they have a woman driver aboard this boat now.
Well, we've had a lot of women drivers and a lot of successful women drivers in this sport. It doesn't matter if you've got the guts to get out and do it, the spirit of competition. It doesn't care if your hair is long or short.
And here's some good competition. Team Scarab, this is a boat out of California, out of the West Coast, now enjoying the waters off the west coast of Florida. One thing about these particular classes of boats, they use stock engines. Ted Bettine talks about them.
Okay, your standard production engine is your 200 horsepower V6, what you see running your Stock A class and Stock B. These engines are the same thing as a V6, except what we do is we bring the power heads in, we change the exhaust port timing, all your timing internally, your ports. We run different pistons, different reeds, and these engines here are fuel injected. So we get, you know, the horsepower is up maybe 20%. We get these power heads right off the assembly line in Fond du Lac, and they come up to our high performance facilities, and then we just take them in and through our two-cycle division and just do the necessary work.
That's in the smaller classes of boats. These engines are not stock engines by any stretch of the imagination.
And they can really smoke at high RPM. Right now, our leader is the Gentry Turbo Eagle out of Honolulu, Hawaii. But look out, look who's coming.
On the outside, the yellow boat is Popeyes, and that is Al Copeland out of Metairie, Louisiana. He is doing a great job of driving. All of a sudden got a tremendous burst of power. Now, this was one of the best starts that he has had all year. Traditionally, he has been starting, well, actually behind the open boats.
Yes, he has, because he couldn't get the RPMs to get this heavy superboat up. But this time he was up on a plane, had pre-planned, and actually crossed the starting line second, not too far off the pace. But right now, he sets the pace in the superboat.
And it's a four-man crew aboard Popeyes, and you can see that water is absolutely gorgeous off Sarasota, Florida. Here is the Systems boat, Bob Kaiser, again in the enclosed capsules. They've got a little air opening on type to try to get some of that air inside. But right now, that boat is riding first in the open division. Look at the helicopter right above him.
Yes, and he's about a 15-second lead over the Thriller, who is currently second. Spirit of America is now coming over and going from third up to second, overtaking the Thriller, and now the positions change.
So Spirit of America really moving up in there. John Antonelli doing a great job. This is one of the boats that is threatened in every race so far this year. He seems to get it a little bit closer at the finish line each time around, so we'll watch him very closely. Thriller now is riding back in third place. We just watched Spirit of America move up.
Here's a brand new boat in fourth place for a bird's eye view. Let's go up to the chopper and Rich Lures. Rich?
David Street and Red Crane in the Wildcat. Their brand new Apache Cat, powered by Mercruiser, running a very substantial fourth place right now. And for a shakedown cruise, they're doing all right. The boat is beautiful. It's a brand new 41-footer, and the graphics and the rigging and whatever are impeccable. They didn't expect to set any speed records today, but they are in a very, very comfortable and strong fourth place. There is at the moment a war for the lead in the open class between three boats, and that's about a half a mile in front of us right now. Now this boat, as I said, is brand new, and it's actually a development project of Ben Kramer's. He had the wooden version of this boat last year and did quite well with it. Had the first glass boat at the first race of the year, and this is the second one. And it looks pretty good, the Wildcat.
They've got to feel pretty good about the way that boat's riding right now.
No doubt about it. They're in 4th place, Dick, and this is the baptism of fire for that boat. Here is our 5th place entry, and of course the Seahawk team.
There you can see Sal Magluta acknowledging the helicopter off to his left side. Magluta getting a little instruction over the top of him from Gus Falcone. I think that everything is working well in that boat. They're holding on to 5th, trying to hold off the Silver Bullet boat. That is in 6th place, boat number 8, Craig Barry. Now, you know, this year so far, the water conditions have favored the Cats, but Barry is confident and optimistic about his DP.
Well, you know, 2 years ago here, it was a rough day. It was a very rough course, and of course the V-bombs do very well. I think with the conditions, there'll probably be 2 places on the course that a V-bomb can make some time up. Other than that, it's a race where you have to make sure your boat holds together.
Speaking of holding together, our reports now as attrition is starting to take its toll, Dick.
A lot of boats going out of the race. We'll check on those reports shortly. You're watching Offshore Racing at its best, and we'll return to the Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix in a moment.
Performance. It's what separates the best from the rest. Household Finance, a leader in financial services.
Performance products. The race never stops.
As a sport, offshore powerboat racing continues to grow tremendously, and with it an awareness of the need for effective safety measures. David Gratop is ORC Chief Paramedic.
Probably one of the most important safety pieces of equipment that these drivers wear are their life jackets for protection for impact injuries to the chest, as well as to add flotation and to keep them face up in the water if by chance they do have to go into the water for any reason. We have first to be a standard lifeline that most of the drivers use. It's a preset flotation. It's kind of big and bulky, adds protection. It does float them face up in hopefully any situation. The second type is a security jacket that they're wearing. It's it has an inflatable bladder on the inside. It's very thin, streamlined. If they hit the water, automatically discharges and fills up and floats them face up. The third is basically very limited amount of flotation and is not designed per se to protect them, but it is designed to float them in the water, not necessarily face up.
Jim, we talked about attrition earlier, a special problem for John DeLee, apparently.
Well, he's showing first place in the modified division, but we've got an unofficial report that he took a short lap instead of going out to the long lap, so it's a navigational error and could affect the outcome officially of this race in modified class.
We made it very clear at the beginning of this broadcast that navigation was going to play a big part in this race, and apparently there has been an error made on the course. So that would mean right at this point, I suppose, that the boat running second on the course, Dirty Laundry, is actually the leader.
If that's the official word.
Here's the boat running third on the course, Peter Hidalgo in American Dream. He knew coming into this race that strategy was going to play an important part.
Basically, it all depends on how rough the conditions are. What I mean is if the sea conditions, if they're 3 to 5, they're 4 to 6, or if it's just flat conditions. So flat conditions, we try to hold back and save the engines, and in the rough waters, just save the equipment as much as we can.
The last race at New Orleans, Louisiana, Hidalgo and his crew did a 360 barrel roll, destroyed the original boat. This is the former El Boss, and they've done a great job preparing for this race. Looking right down in the cockpit right now, the Jolly Rancher, currently riding in 4th place.
Mike Drury, he is again out of New Orleans, Louisiana, and he's doing a fine job of driving out there. He's in 4th place. Back in 5th place is the M7 the Baja Bandit 2. These boats are really handling the water beautifully. There you see the Baja Bandit 2. Good shot right into the cockpit. You can actually see the throttle man, and he's not having to work especially hard today. That throttle man, of course, is John Saucelin, and normally you see in the rough water the throttle's going back and forth, up and down with the boat, but he's getting pretty smooth.
And today it's a lot easier, but it's not easy now. Look at the battle, a tremendous battle in the Pro Stock class for first place with Nicky Cutro on the inside. The red boat is Team Skater, and look at this battle, Dick.
He has done a beautiful job. Nicky Cutro in the P-70 Boardwalk from St. George, New York. There you see a good shot right into the cockpit of that boat as they try to communicate. I think they just realized right now they have passed Team Skater. They have taken the lead in the Pro Stocks. They are now holding on to it. Look at Skater on the outside, and Rich Lures, you can see Chopper 1 is flying right above him right now. That boat is taking a good bounce out there. Let's go up to Chopper 1 and Rich Lures.
Well, thanks, Dick. Pro Stock is shaped up pretty well. We're out here with the Pro Stock class. In the lead right now is Nicky Cutro in the Boardwalk, and this boat right here you're looking at, the Team Skater of Ed Collier, is in second place. Felix Sorales and the Miss Don Q is in third. But this skater is an unusual one. It's a stern drive Pro Stock boat, and I would say that with any kind of luck at all, he can make a real nose-to-nose race out of this before the finish.
So the lead now is the P-70 Boardwalk, followed by the P-7 Team Skater. This boat now riding in third place, the P-88 Miss Don Q.
And it's no surprise because those three boats are the top three in American Powerboat Association points to date for the National High Point lead in this class.
And I've got to say, the water is starting to rough up just a little bit for a couple of the boats. There's the S5 American Express. Look at the way that boat pops right out of the water. That's where the throttleman really has to work.
No doubt about it. Now, there's just a couple of guys here with this outboard powered boat, and it's one of the smaller of the classes, so they're going to get a rougher ride.
There you saw it, the American Express. This is the second place boat in Stock A. This is Phantom 2, riding just a little bit smoother out there, but still getting some altitude every couple of waves.
These are only 24 foot in length, and you can know that the 48-footers of the superboats, you can see that these are half the size of the superboat.
But Jim, they seem to be jumping about twice as far out of this water today anyway.
And they ride twice as rough, to be sure.
Third place, the S10 Crime Buster. Back in fourth place, it is the S77 High Risk. Now, these boats are all pretty evenly matched, therefore individual tactics will play an important role.
Well, what we do is we're just going to tuck the motors in, and we're going to run at 80, 90 miles an hour, and the strategy is just to stay up there and don't lose ground to the other boats. My class is very competitive. We're running against 6 other boats, identically rigged, identical speeds, same manufacturers, same motors. So it's always exciting, the Stock A class.
And Richard Filson, along with, of course, John Henry Falk, took over first place in the high points for Stock A with a first-place finish at New Orleans, the last race.
Look at the S16 fully involved. What great shots we're getting now from out on the course. Joe Sorrentino Sr., Joe Sorrentino Jr., a father and son team. They are really getting a ride there in first place in Stock B.
And no doubt about it, they have gotten 3 straight wins. They've yet to be defeated this year.
Well, look what's happened on the course here, Jim. We just got a shot of this, and it just happened. This is the Team Scarab boat out of California. They missed a turn on the course. They made a U-turn, got back into the race.
And they're not to be penalized if they corrected themselves, although they do lose some time.
So Team Scarab is second. Here's your third place boat. This is Liberator, the S21. And following that boat in fourth place will be Double Trouble. Look at the break of the wave over that boat. They're really starting to rough up the smaller Stock B boats out on the course now. There's Double Trouble, as we said, riding in fourth place on the course. Let's go back out now and pick up some of the action with the super boats. Here's Popeyes. Boy, at this point, Al Copeland looks like he's got it made. He's just enjoying a nice ride.
And if Al has his way about it, this will be the last time he'll drive this haul. He'll have his new one, hopefully, for the next race. This boat, winning a race already this year, is not running good. Look, he's got some problems.
He's back in second place, but Tom Gentry out of Hawaii definitely has some problems with the Turbo Eagle. In the open boat, Systems still out in front. Bobby Kaiser's got to have his fingers crossed at this point. He's had bad luck in all of the races so far, but right now it's running very well for him. Here's the Thriller boat. The canopy is now open on this boat. Look off to the right side of the boat as you would look at it from the rear. The canopy is open. Thriller still holding on to second place, but maybe an indication of some problems. Here's your third place boat. This is the Team Scarab.
And they got a loose back hatch. They might lose it. Look at it bouncing there. They could lose that and not even know it.
This shows you how deceiving the water can be, Jim. It didn't look that rough out there. We saw some of the smaller boats bouncing around, but now we see one of the bigger boats, and they're getting some damage done to them. Here's Fast Company, boat number 16, Stan Riggs Jr. He is riding that boat in fourth place, and that one looks like it's riding very smoothly.
It's a 35-foot deep V cigarette, and it represents the hometown, Sarasota, Florida.
And look what's happening here. We're talking attrition right now. Spirit of America, you can see, has just gone out. Boat number 15, also out of the race at this point. The Silver Bullet, the Wildcat, the Bandit, and Sal Magluta Seahawk. Look down into the Silver Bullet there. You can see they've got the hatches up. That's bad news. We'll be back with more exciting offshore race action from Sarasota when we return.
Marathon, the heart of the Florida Keys. Less than 60 miles south of Miami in a beautiful string of islands. It possesses all the conveniences of a modern community. Marathon boasts a relaxing atmosphere, friendly people, fine restaurants and accommodations, an 18-hole championship golf course, and some of the best fishing and diving anywhere. A commercial airport and the world-famous 7-mile bridge make Marathon easily accessible. For a free guide to Marathon, call 1-800-FLORIDA-KEYS.
Back to offshore racing in Sarasota, Florida. You know, today the boats are bigger and faster than ever before, and this increase in size has created a unique set of problems not related to the water.
Years ago, when we started, most of the boats were running 25, 30 feet long, and trailers were pretty simple. We could put it on a tandem axle trailer with 4 wheels, pulling around with a pickup truck. Today, many of the boats are 40 to 50 feet long and require special trailers. Most of them are now hauled on tandem dual trailers with 8 wheels, and a lot of them we now take and tilt hydraulically to reduce the overall width and fall within legal DOT limits. If we're able to get under 12 feet, we don't need escorts front and rear, and if we can get them within an 8.5-foot limit, they can trailer anytime they want, day or night, weekends and holidays included. A lot of the technology that we developed for the offshore racing finds its way into normal production trailers and makes trailering easier for people like you and me.
Well, here's a guy that doesn't need a trailer at all, not at this point anyway. This is the Popeyes boat out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Al Copeland driving it and just cruising along, enjoying a lead at this point.
As it is leading by a substantial margin over our second-place boat out of Honolulu, Hawaii, the Gentry Turbo Eagle, driven by Tom Gentry.
And he is cruising along on a second place hold. And wait a minute, on the outside, Bob Kaiser, Insistence has gone dead in the water. And look what's happened while he went dead in the water. Spirit of America's back up on plane.
40% of the open class fleet out because of attrition. This man has a horseshoe in his pocket. John Antonelli is back in the race.
And back in the chase, too. He is going to be going after Scarab. Scarab has since passed Thriller, number 77, so this is the team in the lead. Rather unique power system on this boat.
But not unique to automobile racing. Lamborghini, the company. This is twin Lamborghinis. Both engines are V12s racing here today.
And this is the boat that he's going to have to be watching over his shoulder for, number 15, Spirit of America. Let's go to Rich Lord.
Thanks, Dick. The story right now in second place is John Antonelli, one of the early leaders in the open class, and apparently broke down somewhere along the line. He's got the boat running now, and he's making up some valuable time, running as fast as anybody else is at the moment. He was leading the nation in high points going into this race. They're going to have to work hard to maintain that lead. It was less than 100 points over Sal Magluta. When the boat gets hooked up and runs well today, it's running about 100 miles an hour at the moment, which, as I said, is as fast as anyone is running right now in the race. John Antonelli in the Spirit of America.
John Antonelli doing a fine job, and he certainly has become the story of this race. Broke down, got back up on plane, and now is trying to challenge for the lead. Unofficially, first place, the M11 American Dream. We're still waiting to get a confirmation on the reports that John D'Elia made a wrong turn and navigated into the wrong section of the course earlier. Here's the M3 Dirty Laundry. If that report holds true, then this boat is now in second place, and that's a place where it's been so many times this year, Jim.
Yes, as we continue in the modified division, the third place, if If you say the official decision holds up, it'll be the Jolly Rancher, and the Baja Bandit 2 is currently riding in 4th place.
So we've got a lot of tight competition in the modified boats as we look down on the Jolly Rancher right now. See the way that uniquely styled boat is handling the water. And look at Baja Bandit 2. Looks like a very smooth ride for this boat.
A lot easier on the engines, although most of these guys overhaul an engine, or both engines, if that's the case. They overhaul the engines after each race at quite a considerable cost to get ready for the next event.
Here's your leader in the pro stock, Nicky Coutreau. He's out of Lake George, New York. He's getting a great ride in this boat. Had bad luck the very first race of the season, but ever since then he's corrected his gas problems and he's held in there to take wins.
That's right. He's looking for his 3rd straight first-place finish, and this boat is consistent all year also.
Team Skater P7 riding back in 2nd place now in the pro stock. A good ride for the Team Skater.
It's amazing that the Boardwalk in 1st, Team Skater in 2nd, and this boat, the Miss Don Q, in 3rd place currently. Exactly where they stand in national high points to this 4th race of the year.
Now the question is, can they hold those positions for the finish of the race? The way the attrition has taken the other boats out of it, one has to wonder. Another boat that's hanging right in there back in 4th place is the Triple Threat P74 Wayne Vince. He'd like to be moving up in there if he possibly could, but I'm afraid the other boats had a pretty good advantage on him. There he is, giving you a little bit of a wave out there. He says, we're still in it, we're going to hang in there, and who knows, one of the other boats might break down. Jumping back to the Stock A, the Catamaran, the S77 in 1st place out of Great Neck, New York. This is high risk. They're doing a good job of driving, holding that boat up in 1st place. The 2nd place boat is the S10. This is in the Stock A. This boat is Crime Buster out of Key West, Florida. Some big racing coming up there a little bit later this year in the World Championships. And of course, you'll see it with IPI Sports. That's Crime Buster, the S10 boat. Going back to Stock B, a little bit better ride now we can see as they're settling down, fully involved in 1st place. The father and son team of Joe Sorrentino, a senior and junior, and Skip Kreiner is the throttleman. Here's Team Scarab. This is the 2nd place boat in the Stock B from Hermosa Beach, California. I think enjoying some West Coast waters off the west coast of Florida.
And this is their first race of 1987 officially.
The finishes of the 3rd annual Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix when we return.
The fastest boats in the world are fiberglass. And the heart of any fiberglass boat is the resin used to build the boat. AME 4000 resin was developed for boats, not for anything else. That's why boats made with Ashland's AME 4000 are so hard to beat. AME 4000 makes all types of boats better than ever. You can demand this race-proven resin in your own boat. Just ask your dealer.
Performance. It's what separates the best from the rest. Household Finance, a leader in financial services.
For a 140-mile race course, John Burdick does even more.
Yes, we're doing registration, medical and safety, scoring and timing, and we're also keeping track of all the boats and the classes and the clubs that they belong to. During the race, we'll have 7 programs going at one time, all instantaneously. We have direct contact with the paramedics in the helicopters. If there is a problem on the race course, they do have a color of a boat, we can instantaneously bring up the information, how many people are in the boat. We also have the medical history on all the drivers, the navigators, any kind of medication they're on, allergies, and anything they're allergic to. And we'll have that information transmitted directly to the medical paramedics before they even get in the water.
And as far as the scoring is concerned, how fast is that after the race?
We'll have the whole race computed, printed out, and distributed 7 minutes after the race is over.
And the scores are about to be put to the test right now because here comes Popeyes across the finish line to take the win. Pretty good story for a hull that we probably won't see again, Jim.
That's right. His 2nd place, 1st place finish between him and the Gentry Turbo Eagle, who will finish 2nd as we see that boat right now. In the 3 races that the Superboats have competed, these guys have been 1-2 all season long.
So the competition continues to grow in this class, and we do expect a brand new Popeyes boat the next race out of the box. So Gentry may have some more work cut out for him. Here's the story of the race, though, coming in across the finish line for the checkered flag. Spirit of America, dead in the water. They fixed the problem, went back up on plane. Look at him come across now. Beautiful finish.
Well, they say it ain't over till it's over, and that's the case here today. And a fine finish for this, the Scarab Lamborghini with twin V12s.
And this is a very strong finish for this boat in the first race. A finish that many of the boats didn't take, as a matter of fact, the attrition being very heavy here in Sarasota, Florida. There's a shot of a happy crew. The winners in the super boats, Al Copeland and his crew. Let's go down to Mark Spencer in the pits.
Now, at the start of the race, you and Gentry were locked up in a pretty tight battle.
Yeah, that's the way it would have been the whole race, I'm sure. At that particular point, it was either one of us was going to break and one of us was going to win, or both of us going to have a real tight finish.
Al, at what point in the race did you start to throttle back and conserve the equipment?
Well, Bill throttled back right after we knew that Gentry had some trouble. When he started slowing down, we slowed down and looked behind us. There was nobody behind us. We were way ahead of everybody, so he just kind of paced it and took it on in nice and slow. But I tell you what, I owe the success of this boat to him, Bill Saroy. He's a hometown boy here, and he put this thing together. He kept it together. And the crew that we have and that he runs and organizes is phenomenal. He's done an outstanding job.
So this is the way the superboats finish. Popeyes first, Gentry Turbo Eagle second, and running for points today, Chris Lavin, way back in the field with the Maxon Marina.
The superboats are finished. Here come the modified boats in now. American Dream. How about that? A first place in his first race in this boat. Peter Hidalgo has got to be happy, but it is an upset because he beat out the M1 Special Edition. We said earlier that boat had made a wrong turn, and that is confirmed now. Here's your second place boat, Dirty Laundry. Boy, they're used to finishing second place. They've been doing that, it seems, all season long, but gaining up a little bit on the margin each time around. Swinging back over to the open class, the winner in that, of course, John Antonelli in the Spirit of America, a winner who proved it's not over till it's over. Mark Spencer is with him in the pits. Mark?
At the end of the first lap, you were in third place, then you went dead in the water. Tell us what happened.
Our fuel pump stopped pumping, and Hurley, our throttle man and chief mechanic now, pulled out the tools, took it apart, purged it, and got the fuel flowing back, and we started up again.
After you were dead in the water for almost 15 minutes, did you ever think you have any chance of pulling off the win?
We tried. I got to tell you, we pushed it. I didn't know. We really didn't know. We started passing boats, and we just kept passing them. We kept hoping. We kept passing and kept hoping. That's all I can tell you.
Hurley, making those mechanical repairs at sea is not an easy job.
No, it wasn't all that easy, but when you got something you want to get done, you go ahead and do it.
How long did it take to make all the repairs and to, first of all, to diagnose the problem?
Well, once we went down and the pressure gauge was not showing anything, I knew we'd lost the fuel pressure. So I knew what I had to do. It was a matter of just getting in there, getting the right tool, and doing it.
Right. The Spirit of America, the surprise winners in the open class.
And in the open class, here is your first through four finishers. Spirit of America, of course, winning. Scarab Lamborghini, a very fine second for the first time those engines have run, and the rest of the day's work in open class.
So some exciting racing in offshores off Sarasota, Florida. The winner in the modified is none other than Peter Hidalgo, a surprise win. Mark Spencer has more.
Tell us about that finish.
Well, basically we kept on course, and that's what counted at the end, and that's what gave us the finish. The other two boats veered off on course and took the wrong turn, and we were right on there and did the right turn, and that's how we won.
Right now, when you saw the first two boats in modified go the opposite way, what did you think?
They're going wrong. And we're two stubborn guys. We follow what we plan on it, and we do it.
Okay, the winners in the modified class based on good navigation and good throttle response.
Thank you very much, Mark. Here it is. American Dream first, the Dirty Laundry second, Jolly Rancher officially third, and fourth, the Baja Bandit 2.
And we'll be back to the beautiful Florida Suncoast and the Sarasota Offshore Grand Prix in a moment.
Marathon, the heart of the Florida Keys. Less than 60 miles south of Miami in a beautiful string of islands. It possesses all the conveniences of a modern community. Marathon boasts a relaxing atmosphere, friendly people, fine restaurants and accommodations, an 18-hole championship golf course, and some of the best fishing and diving anywhere. A commercial airport and the world-famous 7-mile bridge make Marathon easily accessible. For a free guide to Marathon, call 1-800-FLORIDA-KEYS.
There he is. What a happening dude.
There's a super party animal. Yeah. His name is Bugs McKenzie. A barbecue inside. A barbecue. And a cold Bud Light. A cold Bud Light. Puts him in a party frenzy. In a party frenzy.
He's Buds McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Go, Buds, go. Go, Buds, go.
Go, Buds, go.
Buds, you really cooking now.
All right. We go back out onto the course now off Sarasota, Florida. We are looking at the pro stock finish. This is Boardwalk. Boy, that boat is riding about as pretty as I've seen it all season long, and he's going to take a win in the pro stock, Jim.
And his third straight and 3 out of 4 for first place in class for Nicky Coutreau and team.
Nicky Coutreau out of Lake George, New York. Now, here's a little surprise. The Miss Don Q has moved up into second place. That means Team Skater dropped back to third, so a little surprise for Felix and Juan Sorales.
It was a tight race between these 3 boats in this class the whole race.
And it's going to affect the national point standings.
Boardwalk has increased to 278-point lead over Team Skater, currently nationally second. Miss Don Q is now pulled to within 25 points of second place in high points with a second place finish here today.
And here's Stock A as they come in for the checkered flag. It's high risk, the S-77, Rick Felson and John Henry Falk. A good ride for this boat. These little boats kind of took a beating out on the course today, even though the water didn't look that rough. They got roughed up a little bit. Here's Crime Buster coming in second in the Stock A. James and Tad Kimes aboard that boat. I think they've got to be happy that the boat finished, because certainly a lot of the boats did not finish today.
Here's a story in itself. Tim Mamone from Hermosa Beach, California. Team Scarab did not show up, did not start the first 3 races. This is the only race they've competed all year, and they win it.
That's right. They pull an upset, as a matter of fact, because that means in second place it's the S-16 fully involved, and that's the boat that had been dominating that class all along. And here he comes in now, second place. This is the father and son team of the Sorrentinos. The throttle, of course, Skip Kreiner, so fully involved for the first time this season, takes a second place.
And doing very well, because they still have a 512-point lead through the first 4 races of the year.
And the winner of the last 3 pro stock offshore races, the boat Boardwalk. And boy, they have got that boat dialed in. Let's go down to Mark Spencer.
In a race like this where you run several laps in the bay, navigation does play an important part.
Yeah, we had no problem hitting them right on, and it was the local race committee did a beautiful job here in Sarasota, and I came in, you know, we did everything right, and we finished and came in first place, and that's what we're here to do the job.
In this kind of water, was the water to your liking?
It's a little bumpy out there. I knew it would be a little bumpy. I flew the course this morning. My arms got a little tired, but I made a little run around the course early this morning, and I looked and I saw some 3-footers out there, an occasional swell, so I said it's going to get bumpier because we had a 1 o'clock start at this race, so I told them do a few little trick things to the boat, and that's give us a little edge.
A personable guy, the driver of Boardwalk, Nicky Coutreau, first place. Don Q second, Team Skater third, and the triple threat overall 4th.
And in Stock A, the winning boat was High Risk. Aboard that boat, John Henry Falk and Rick Felson. Mark Spencer's with the winners.
High Risk, the winner in the Stock A class. John Henry, you drive the boat. The big boats report that the water was pretty smooth, but here in a 24-footer, you must have taken a few lumps.
We did. We stuffed it once, but the water was good racing water, and we were able to run fairly fast, so we enjoyed it out there today.
Right. Rick, you worked the throttles. Any mechanical problems during the race?
No, the boat ran great. We just ran the whole race. The boats were running quite fast. The water conditions were great for an offshore powerboat race. And thank God we came in first. It was a great race. We enjoyed it immensely.
High Risk moves into first place in the national point standings in the Stock A division.
I think that's about right. Thumbs up there from John Henry Falk. High Risk first, Crime Busters second, Phantoms 2 is third, and American Express 4th.
Now let's go back to Mark Spencer with the S-29 Scarab crew, winners of Stock B here today in Sarasota, Florida.
Tim Mamone, the winner in Sports B, came a long way to Sarasota, Florida. He's from California. Tim, how was the water here on the East Coast?
Oh, this is nice compared to California. It's an average day. This is about as rough as it gets in the bay. So this was like coming home for us. Very easy to run.
And how do you rate the competitors on the East Coast?
This is tough, a lot tougher than it is on the West Coast. So far, the races that we've done, we've got the only Stock B legal boat out there. So we've been running up into the sportsman classes. So this is nice for a change.
So now we've covered all our winners. Here's Stock B, Team Scarab, Fully Involved, the Liberator, and Double Trouble, your top 4 boats for Stock B.
A safe day in Sarasota, Florida, and that means a good race day, but attrition was up.
Yeah, attrition was up, but it was a walk for Popeyes and Superboats. How about the Spirit of America? Goes down, comes back to win the open class. And a surprise, a wrong turn by John D'Elia, and the special edition doesn't win for the first time in a long time.
And that's competition, and that's what we're going to be talking about coming up here on IPI Sports. Next, we're going to be in Grand Haven, Michigan, out on Lake Michigan there for an exciting event. And then following that, coming up later in October, it'll be the U.S. Championships. And then following that, later in the year, from Key West, Florida, truly an international event, the World Championships.
They'll be coming from Japan, from Australia. They'll be coming from Germany, from England. It'll be a true World Championship test.
So it's been a good day in Sarasota, Florida. We hope you'll join us for the rest of the Offshore Racing Series. And I'd like to say thanks to Rich Lures and also to Mark Spencer for joining us. It's been a good day of racing. For Jim Hendrick, I'm Dick Crippen. We'll see you next time around with more Offshore Racing.
The HFC Pro Series Suncoast Offshore Grand Prix has been sponsored by HFC Performance. It's what separates the best from the rest. And by Mercury Performance Products. The race never stops. A promotional consideration has been provided by the Colony Beach Resort on beautiful Longboat Key, Florida, which offers the finest accommodations, recreation, and amenities for a vacation. And by Eastern Airlines, the airline that will give you your summer.